Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Album Spotlight, the show where I put the spotlight on a new album in progressive rock or related genre, one that I think you guys will love and appreciate if you are fans of the same kind of music that I am, that I talk about constantly on the channel. And I have an album that I've become really obsessed with over the past couple weeks that I just have to talk about on the channel, even if it's not traditional progressive rock. I think most of you out there will really love this if you give it a chance. And that's the new album by the Lemon Twigs called A Dream Is All We Know. And this is a fantastic group, an American rock band from Long Island, a duo consisting of two brothers, Brian and Michael D'Addario. They're both vocalists, songwriters, multi-instrumentalists. They play a lot of the music on this album. They wrote it. And it's just a perfect album of sunny, psychedelic, 60s pop. It's just really fun, power pop. All of those labels can be applied to this music. It's definitely a mixture of like classic Beach Boys with mid-period Beatles, with some early 70s catchy glam rock kind of stuff like Todd Rundgren and Big Star. It's just a real treat and joy to listen to, true sonic ear candy. I just can't get enough of their beautiful sunny harmonies that play together so well. They have so much cool vintage sounds that they're working with, classic organ, these like beautiful lush orchestrated elements that you'd hear on some of those classic 60s records. Really cool 70s keyboards and things all throughout the record. It's just a real nostalgia trip and reminds me back in the days when I was first, as a young kid, getting into the Beatles. My dad's a Beatles fanatic, and he shared with me the Beatles music when I was like a really young, 7 or 8 year old or something. He gave me the Red and Blue compilation albums on CD, and I just wore those out, played them constantly, was addicted and obsessed with the Beatles as a young kid. And this brought back all of that obsessive feelings and all of the warm sunniness and all of the great stuff that I feel is really embodied by this group, the Lemon Twigs. I think they have that spirit and have crafted some incredible music that could fit right alongside those classic albums from the Beach Boys and the Beatles. It's just beautiful. My Golden Years begins the record in the perfect way with perfect sunny 60s pop. It's the perfect single. It brings together the best of the Beach Boys and classic like mid-60s rubber soul era Beatles. Love the harmonies. The production is just perfect. Such a classic sound. I could listen to this song on repeat over and over and just be endlessly happy. It's just wonderful. And it moves into They Don't Know How to Fall in Place, which has some great organs, some lovely harmony vocals, whimsical and joyful, just another toe-tapping track with warmly inviting vintage sounds. Church Bells is another joyful song with some great acoustic guitar strumming, cool Beatles-esque orchestral flourishes throughout the piece. A Dream Is All We Know is drenched in 70s nostalgia with some bouncy piano. Feels like it's inspired by like Paul McCartney and Wings and has this kind of dreamy psychedelic quality to it. Sweet Vibration brings in a little bit of that lush Eleanor Rigby style strings and wandering piano. Feels like it could fit in that like Revolver era of the Beatles with a bit of a sunshine twist. In the Eyes of the Girl is definitely like an old school Beach Boys doo-wop kind of feel. It reminds me of like their track like Surfer Girl, those early vintage tracks from their early career, something you'd dance with your sweetheart to at like a school dance or something. Just a beautiful, dripped in nostalgia and old-fashioned in the best possible way. If You and I Are Not Wise is a pleasant, slower pop ditty that allows the brothers' voices to really blend seamlessly together, maybe even a bit of a light country flavor to this track in my mind. How Can I Love Her More has some great big opening horns and a bouncy 70s feel with some like kind of creepy organ in the background, providing great counterpoint and balance to the sunny pop melodies, full of like a dramatic flair to it. Really a wonderful track. Ember Days has some haunting folksy, almost Latin sounding guitar before we get to the sublime harmonies. So many beautiful orchestral elements coming behind them, and this leads to some of the most gorgeous melodies on the entire record. Peppermint Roses is quirky organ, very 60s psych kind of sound to it. Just one of those quirky, fun pop tunes from that era, just really done expertly well. I Should Have Known from the Start has beautiful plucked acoustic guitars and very active bass accompanying some thoughtful vocals. Some drum fills kind of break up the song in different sections. Towards the end we get an even more fuller sound with some mandolin and twinkling keys, adding another layer to the soundscape. I love the outro of this with this great blend of piano, guitar, and drums. This is a premiere track. I really love it. One of my favorites. And then it ends on a big rock track, rock on over and over. Gives us that classic rock and roll feel, a real stomper of a piece. Something like the Beatles' Revolution with fuzzy guitars and just a feel-good vibe. Love the big horns at the end, bringing an epic feel to close the record. And so it all just leads to just one of the most fun, bright, sunny albums that I've heard in a long time, and I just can't get enough. I put it on repeat. It's like a very short album. It's only like 35, 36 minutes, something like that, but that adds to the nostalgia factor. It feels like the same length as an album from the mid-60s, and so I just absolutely adore this. I think it's fun. Some people could argue, are they being a bit too derivative of the past? Or, are they not putting their own stamp on it? Are they not doing something original enough? But I think the way that they blend these different influences together, the way they're able to put their own personality onto it and bring it into a modern production, I think that's enough to really give it its own identity and to separate it from the classic era that it's definitely influenced by. So, fantastic record. I can't recommend it enough. I think this is one of the premier best records of the year. This is a band that I've known about and have sampled their stuff through the years. I listened quite a bit to their last album called Everything Harmony from last year, but this was the first time that their music really grabbed me and turned me into a diehard fan. I just think that they're excellent musicians, excellent songwriters, and it all comes together in a perfect way, and bringing together all the influences on this record that speak to me and to my early music history. So thank you to the band. I love this record, and I hope you guys will go check it out on your own. It's well worth the investment, and my physical copy is coming soon to me, and I can't wait for it. Owning it on vinyl and putting it on the turntable is the perfect method for this album, because it feels like it belongs in that classic period where records were the premier way to listen to music anyways. So can't say enough good things. Even though it's not traditional progressive rock and it's fairly straightforward 60s pop music, you could argue, it still is just beautifully composed and has so many great elements to it. And it is just an extremely pleasant listen, and I hope you guys will check it out. So thank you guys for joining me on this review, and I hope you guys will enjoy the music out there, whatever you got going on and are listening to. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of the Lemon Twigs and you know about their back catalog. Point me towards their other albums that I can go check out now that I've become a massive fan. And hopefully you guys are just enjoying yourselves. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you hopefully in a future episode. Bye, everybody.